WNBA players wanted to make a statement at the All Star Game, and boy did they ever, just not how they intended. With Caitlin Clark out, this was their golden chance to prove the league doesn't rely on her. Instead, from the pre-game interviews to the stunts on the court, it turned into a PR disaster.
Keep your issues to yourself. You went from a Motel 6 in a sketchy part of town to a Four Seasons in the shopping district. Stop talking.
And then came the Kelsey Plum incident. She threw Caitlin under the bus unprovoked while talking about the players forming a united front. You can't make this stuff up. Let's break down this comedy of errors and why this event just proved all of Caitlin Clark's fans right. But first, let me know what you thought of the game. Drop fire or trash in the comments. This was supposed to be the big showcase for the WNBA. Last year's All Star Game in 2024 pulled in a record-breaking 3.44 million viewers. All eyes on Caitlin Clark in her debut season, turning the event into a cultural moment. This year, with Caitlin named a captain, hosting in Indianapolis, her home court, her fan base, it was teed up to blow past that. Sold-out crowds, viral clips from her three-point contest, a weekend-long celebration of the league's growth. It was supposed to be a power move for the players, too. With CBA negotiations stalling, meetings happening right there during All-Star Weekend, and that October 31st deadline looming, this was their moment to show the commissioner and owners, we're the product, pay up. But then, Caitlin Clark got injured. Again. She suffered a right groin pull in the final minute against the Connecticut Sun on July 15th, and as a result, pulled out of the three-point contest and the game itself. The fallout? Immediate and brutal.
The get-in price for the WNBA All Star Game in Indianapolis has dropped 48%, from $121 all the way down to just $64 after news broke that Caitlin Clark won't be playing.
If tickets dropped 48% instantly, that means people who bought tickets were willing to take a huge loss rather than go watch the best players in the WNBA without Caitlin Clark. And it's not just the All-Star Game. Fever Liberty ticket prices, one of the league's marquee matchups, have now dropped as low as $59. I was actually planning to fly to New York for that game, and I couldn't find nosebleeds for under $120. Once again, for the third time this season, her direct and immense impact on the WNBA has been proven without a doubt.
I can't imagine, folks, you know how many NBA players can get injured? And the prices would never drop to this low. LeBron James can be injured, Steph Curry could be injured, Kevin Durant could be in, and the prices still will not drop to be this low. $75? Folks, I'm sure there's some high school football teams down in Texas that charge you at least $75 to get to a home game.
There's no player in any sport who makes or breaks attendance, viewership, and revenue like Caitlin Clark. And that's exactly what makes this such a brutal reality check for the players demanding more money right now. Because with Caitlin out, everything was on them. This was their shot to prove the WNBA isn't a one-player league, that the collective talent could still draw a crowd, excite the fan base, and show the world that the value isn't just tied to one person. This was the moment to make a real case that they're worth every penny they're asking for in those stalled CBA talks. Instead, what came next was a complete disaster. And it didn't start with the opening tip. It started before the game even began. First, let's get one thing straight. All-Star games are for the fans, especially the new fans, the ones who just started paying attention, who are buying jerseys, posting clips, and filling arenas. They're the reason the players are about to make more money. The reason there's even a CBA fight worth having. But instead of embracing that, we got this.
Yes, I think, our sports culture, I think so many fans, feel they have the freedom to say whatever they want to us. And unfortunately, there's a lot of nasty things that come with it. At the end of the day, we're here doing our jobs, and they don't have people coming to their jobs saying these nasty things. So, we definitely have to protect the players better. It's unfortunate that it's come to this point, but I know we're going to continue to speak up about it, and we're just trying to play basketball. That's all.
Alyssa Thomas, an all-star, essentially complained that fans were mean. For a professional athlete, she doesn't seem to understand how sports work. Fans aren't always nice. They can be harsh. They can be loud. But you know what that means? It means they care. That's what comes with being a public figure and playing a sport people actually watch. And the worst part? She implied that no one else has to deal with criticism in their job. Like, tell me you've never worked in customer service without telling me you've never worked in customer service. It was out of touch, and the internet let her know. Speaking of out of touch, let's talk about money, because there was a lot of talk about money this weekend, especially the ongoing CBA negotiations. And Angel Reese dropped a soundbite that absolutely lit up X.
It's bigger than me. No player is less important than me or more important than me. We are all here to fight for the same thing and what we deserve. Basketball and WNBA is all I know. And this is the league I love so much. And we're not going to stop until we get exactly what we want. And yesterday's meeting really woke me up to the eyes of we aren't getting what we deserve.
Angel Reese didn't hold back. She floated the idea of a strike on All Star Weekend, while cameras were rolling and headlines were waiting. And the response? Immediate. Thousands of comments lit up under the clip, pointing out the obvious. The league's never turned a profit. It was struggling for mainstream attention before Caitlin. And if Angel wants to strike, fans are basically daring her to find out what her real market value is without Caitlin. Now look, yes, she was answering a question, but it's still a massive statement. The optics of threatening a work stoppage during the league's biggest marketing weekend of the year? Not great. And she wasn't the only one beating that drum. Before she took a shot at Caitlin, I have that clip coming up, Kelsey Plum made it clear that All-Star Weekend wasn't just a celebration. It was a platform, a moment for players to send a message about what they're worth.
We have a long way to go. We're going to use this weekend to show our value and our worth and continue to be united because we do deserve more.
To be fair, Kelsey actually made a solid point. She said this weekend was about winning over hearts, minds, and wallets. But here's the thing. If you want people to buy in, you've got to deliver a product worth buying. Which brings us to the next disaster, the game itself. The All-Stars wasted no time turning the spotlight away from the fans and back onto themselves.
Let's welcome the ninth official, making her second All-Star officiating, reaching the
They hit the court in matching shirts that read, "Pay us what you owe us." A not-so-subtle shot at ownership, aimed squarely at the stalled CBA negotiations. And it went over like a lead balloon.
These T-shirts, whoever told them to do this was a bad move. A bad move. Because when I tell you, Fearbuck, Breaking 911, Barstool Sports, congratulations, Clown World picked you up, Hater Report, and about 25 others. This is now going viral. I mean, mega viral, and not in a good way. This backfired from a PR standpoint royally.
Social media tore them apart. Because seriously, what are you actually owed? The league has never turned a profit. It's lost money every single year for 3 decades, including $40 million last season. The only reason players are even in position to ask for more is because of the new media rights deal, which is being negotiated off the back of a new fan base, the one Caitlin Clark brought with her. Those fans now outnumber the original ones. That's why viewership tanks 55% when Caitlin isn't on the court. That's why ticket prices drop 50% the moment she's injured. Every piece of data says she's responsible for at least half the current audience, if not more. And that's when the memes started rolling in. Yes, it's photoshopped, but the point landed. Because fans overwhelmingly agreed. Caitlin Clark is the only player in the league right now who's actually owed anything. And that's the core mistake these players keep making with stunts like this. Casual fans aren't on your side because they know who is driving the growth, the one player who is the only reason they're watching in the first place.
These players have made a grave miscalculation. They've got, on a 3-to-1 scale, they've got new sports fans, and I don't mean new to sports, new to their league, fans of other sports now watching their league. The old fandom is the 1. All right, we're the 3, they're the 1. Now, we're not watching their whole sport as a whole. We're not. Now, occasionally we peek in on other games or this and that and the other, but we're watching the Indiana Fever. More specifically, we're watching Caitlin Clark. These players know that, and they hate it. And they can't even hide it.
The big miscalculation is thinking fans will automatically line up behind the players. Sure, some will, the diehards, the originals, but most of the current audience, They're new fans who showed up for Caitlin Clark. And because of how the league and some players have treated that crowd, those people are not converting into long-term WNBA fans anytime soon. You start talking strike, you risk losing them for good. But that wasn't even the worst part. There was still a game to play. And yeah, it was rough.
I don't even know how to describe what the hell that was. Like, is embarrassment the basketball a reasonable explanation for that?
Last year, the All-Star format actually had some juice, a little competitiveness, something at stake. This year, it looked like a Saturday shoot-around at the local Y. No defense, no urgency, long stretches of jogging and half-contested threes. A'ja Wilson, the reigning MVP, finished with 4 points. It didn't just look like they weren't trying. Fans in the building and online were saying it out loud, bored, annoyed, and wondering why they paid All-Star prices to watch half-speed cardio. And it looks like some fans who paid big money to watch it live were checking out early.
We're early in the second half. Look at how many people left at halftime. Look at how many people left the game at halftime. In just the couple of hundred that you guys can see on screen. In just the couple of hundred you can see on screen, there is at least 20 seats missing in that area. From people just left at halftime. More there. More there. This is 7 minutes going to third quarter. And there's all of these. And we'll skip through to the fourth quarter. Not very few of them are back.
Look, All-Star games are usually kind of dull. That's not new. Unless there's something on the line, they're rarely must-watch TV. But this was supposed to be different. This was supposed to be the moment the WNBA flexed. A full house, national spotlight, and the chance to show the world just how far the league had come. A moment to prove that the players were worth every dollar they're demanding. And instead, this is what fans got. If that's your showcase of talent and skill, the product you're using to negotiate a bigger payday, good luck. Now compare that to last year. Kelsey Plum was full court pressing Caitlin Clark. The energy was high, the effort was real, and fans felt like they were watching something that mattered.
WNBA fans, you showed up. Now you showed out. Make some noise.
This year, they're blaming the format, saying they had to conserve energy with games coming up. Sure, but that didn't stop them from going live on Instagram the night before, drinking, joking around, and calling themselves Team Hangover in the post-game huddle. Whatever it was, fatigue, ego, bad planning, the result was the same. A game that was tough to watch, and an opportunity completely blown. Because at the end of the day, it's not just the fans they need to win over, it's the owners, and they were watching.
And I totally get the players feeling like, look, we don't want to go out there and risk our body and expend all of this energy. Obviously, we want to put on a good show and we want to do something that the fans enjoy, but we're kind of stretched a little thin here. But then on the same side, I think that there might have been an opportunity here if the players went out there, played hard, had a great product, got those ratings up, had the building electric for the entire 4 quarters. Like, there's an example there for the people that you're coming to the table to negotiate with, to show like, hey, look at what we can do. Look at the stars in our league. Look at the fans who show up for us. This is why we deserve to be paid more. This is another reason we deserve to be paid more.
But we weren't finished yet. Because after the game and after all the CBA talk, after the t-shirt stunt, after one of the most underwhelming All-Star games ever, we got one more soundbite that lit a fuse.
Well, Kelsey Plum decided to give some backstory about these shirts, and she took a shot at Caitlin Clark.
Kelsey Plum, on the mic at the post-game press conference, threw a jab at Caitlin Clark's team, implying they didn't show up for the meeting about the t-shirts worn during the warm-ups.
Well, it was a very powerful moment. We didn't, at least as players, we didn't know that that was going to happen. So I think it was kind of like a genuine surprise. But the T-shirt, just United front, was determined this morning that we had a meeting for, and not to tattletale, but 0 members of Team Clark were very present for that. But no, we were just we had a very
that really needed to be mentioned.
She tried to laugh it off, tried to frame it as a joke, but let's be honest. The timing, the tone, and the target made it clear. That shot was intentional. And the perception? She was calling out Caitlin's squad for not backing the pay us message, despite the fact that Caitlin did wear the shirt. It was awkward. It was unnecessary. And even Sabrina Ionescu, sitting right next to her, gave her a look like, did you really just say that? Because Sabrina knows exactly how this plays. She knows how it's going to look, how it's going to be clipped, and how it's going to land with the millions of fans who tuned in for Caitlin Clark and left with one more reason to feel unwelcome.
These WNBA players, they get more unlikable every day. And the blatant jealousy, the blatant hatred towards Caitlin Clark is, it's obvious. They don't even try to hide it.
Once again, taking shots, even in jest, at the only player fans genuinely show up for, it's not just tone deaf. It's bad business.
So the T-shirts don't bother me. But why do you take a shot at the Golden Goose, Caitlin Clark? You guys were flying before she arrived on one of those airlines that made you pay for a cup of water. One of those airlines that is the planes are the color of a highlighter. Now you're flying private.
Look, I'm sure the vibes were fine behind the scenes, but this wasn't just a locker room moment. This was the All Star Game, the biggest stage of the season so far. And the way it was handled turned what should have been a celebration into a PR nightmare. Instead of drawing in new fans, it pushed them away. Instead of showcasing the product, it spotlighted the disconnect. And all it really did was reinforce the exact attitudes casual fans already had about the league.
The reason this league has never been fiscally responsible, they've never had to be. The reason entitlement is so prevalent in this dump is because they have never been forced to earn their own money.
All the league has to do, literally all it has to do, is embrace Caitlin Clark and the fans she brought with her. Stop encouraging cheap shots on the court. Stop alienating your new audience. And for once, just read the room. Because here's the truth. Most people don't think you're owed a big raise just yet. Not when half the current fan base didn't care before Caitlin showed up, and the league has never turned a profit, and just lost $40 million last year. You were handed a once-in-a-lifetime gift in Caitlin Clark, and instead of building around her, the league and some of its players keep treating her like a threat. All you had to do was ride the wave, improve the product, win people over, and now, with Caitlin out again, the players who spent All-Star Weekend puffing their chests and preaching leverage are probably about to get served a giant steaming plate of humble pie. If you're still here, drop a goat in the comments, because that's exactly what you are for sticking around to the end. Thanks for watching. See you next time.